To the Midwest, and let's introduce you to one of our other team members. Of course, you see him most weeks in Wisconsin. I want to show you what they've been dealing with since you last heard from them. That's the thunderstorms and the hail and even tornado alerts. Southeastern Wisconsin saw it all. And our friend of the show joins us now, Fox 6 Milwaukee Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks. Tom, lots of severe weather since you and I last talked, and you were actually out on vacation driving to one of the spots that I love with the Wisconsin Dells, the water parks, the go-karting there. Can you kind of talk to us about that tornado warning and what it was like to experience that?
Oh, Steve, let me set the scene for you. First of all, great to be with you tonight. Yes, so I took a family vacation last week to an area called Wisconsin Dells. If you've never heard of it, it is north of Madison, Wisconsin, kind of in the central part of the state, and it's a huge family fun area. You've got water parks, you have got indoor-outdoor water parks, arcades, so many fun things for kids. So here's the deal. And by the way, that's not a UFO in the shot. That is one of my little, Velcro deals that's on my windshield. My wife took this picture. So I'm driving with my wife, my daughter, who is 10, and her friend. And we are just about to get off at the exit. I mean, we have driven 2 hours. We're getting off at the exit. Phone goes off, tornado warning. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, here we go, meteorologist getting into the tornado warning. So I looked back at the girls and I go, hey, we're going to do a little storm chasing. All right, the friend was good. By the way, the kid that's not mine, she was fine with it. My daughter was scared to death in the back seat. So we get off, and I'm like, girls, I'll get you out of this. We're not going to go, into the storm. Well, sure enough, the road curves. I'm seeing like the rear flank downdraft. I'm like, oh, we're getting close to this thing. So the vacation, Steve, started with the storm chase. Thankfully, no touchdowns from that part of that squall line.
Yeah, it just shows you how, funny it could be being the daughter of a meteorologist. You think, hey, I love weather innately, but storms are scary, and they can be loud and rowdy.
Right.
That was part of a big severe event for Wisconsin. But, Tom, I want to ask you about the entire season, because I remember talking with you back in April. We said, man, Wisconsin is getting a whole lot of action. And then it started to shift a little bit. Here on Fox Weather this week, we've done a deep dive on the tornado recap. Your neighbors to the south, Illinois, leading the way. But I want to get your sense of the severe season in Wisconsin so far this year and what it's been like there.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, we pale in comparison to Illinois. We have had 47 tornadoes here in Wisconsin so far, and that's the most that we've had since 2005, second most since records have been kept since 1950. Illinois, of course, a whole lot more, and they had that stalled frontal boundary down there, I mean, what seemed to be for weeks. So it was storm after storm after storm down in Illinois, and I mean, this has just been really unprecedented here in the upper Midwest, and, we could be getting back into another pattern as we go into next week again as things start to heat up. But I'll tell you, and I grew up here in this area, and it's pretty rare to see the frequency of severe weather that we've seen around here, not only with tornadoes, but also straight line winds and hail events as well.
Yeah, we're showing you a lot of that footage. Team, if we could bring up the graphics to show everybody by the numbers what this is like to what Tom is talking about, because it is alarming when you look at the amount of tornadoes. Yes, Wisconsin got in April, right? They got 28. And then you start looking at for their entire season, they only average, or the year, 25. So far, they've had in the 40s. But to Tom's point, when you look at that in comparison to Illinois, where they've got over 200, which is the second state ever to experience that in 1 year, the other state being Texas. It just shows you the anomaly of this severe season. But, Tom, you just kind of alluded to something that each week can be different, right? The upper air pattern does change. This is what we have seen that created that stalling pattern for you in the Midwest, where you had the Ridge Riders for much of the severe season, and that stall boundary came through northern Illinois and really towards Wisconsin and all throughout the Midwest. But I want to ask you about what we're seeing tonight and tomorrow, right? You're kind of on the outer edge of this. You're not getting the bullseye of it, but you start looking at areas around you that could get some more storms.
Right, and this is interesting. And, Steve, this comes down to timing. And a lot of our storm timing, both for us and Illinois, has been afternoon and evening, right, which coincides with that peak heating and the instability in the atmosphere. Tonight, at least here in the Milwaukee area, as this wave in the atmosphere and cold front comes in, it's going to be 3 to 6 a.m. So we're going to be very stable. In other words, not expecting much severe weather here in Wisconsin. However, you go a bit east, possibly southern lower Michigan and into portions of Indiana and Ohio, that could change a little bit because they're going to be more in that zone with the peak heating. So timing here is really important when it comes to severity in this case. So I think at least in Milwaukee, we're going to look out tonight. But then as the days move along, I think that's when we're going to start to end up seeing more storms. We are seeing some storms near Duluth and just east of Duluth tonight. So northern Wisconsin getting hit with a couple of storms. But again, this whole pattern shift starts to change yet again as we head into the weekend. And I think that brings some of that heat we've seen down in the southern plains in Texas up in our direction.
Yeah, it's all what's happening in the upper atmosphere. It's where the ingredients align. And you had kind of talked about the weekend, but before we get there, we got a major event on Thursday. I was out on X and I was looking at your coverage, talking about, hey, this lunar eclipse. This could be a good opportunity. You guys are dodging those storms. Hopefully you won't have that cloud cover. Walk us through what you're expecting there come Thursday night.
Yeah, we are so excited, Steve, for this celestial treat because it often seems that we're too cloudy when these things come in for us. Not this go around. So we have, I'm calling it the almost total lunar eclipse coming in on Thursday night. And this is where you're going to have the moon being about 96% covered in the Earth's umbra, which is the deepest part of the Earth's shadow. So you're going to see, as you see here, most of the moon covered in that blood red color. Here in the Milwaukee area, it's around peak at 11:13 p.m. Central Time, and the moon will be in the southeast sky. So we're going to have kind of a bird's eye perfect view of this almost total lunar eclipse on Thursday night, and the skies look to be clear. So I think it's going to be a great event, and we're really touting it here in southeastern Wisconsin since our skies are looking good.
Yeah, and we're touting it here as well. We're really excited about this because for us, and you know him, Ari is coming up at Fox Weather at night. They're doing an extended show come Thursday night to be a part of that event. And maybe it'll be a good opportunity to tap in to some of your coverage where you could have the best view of all of this unfolding. But right now, we've gotten the best moment in TV because we got you back on our air and a good opportunity to check in. I also got to ask you, Tom, just real quickly because we're running out of time. How was the family vacation at the Dells?
It was great. It was a lot of kid time. I'm exhausted still, right, from like corralling the kids around. But it was really fun. I discovered, Steve, I'm getting a little too old for water slides. Everything hurts when you go down a water slide now. Didn't used to be the case.
Yeah, I remember that. Every summer we'd go to the Dells, and it was iconic. It was funny thinking about a Florida boy getting excited about going to a water park. You didn't think I'd have to go all the way to Wisconsin to do it. But to your point, now I got to remember we're getting a little older, Tom. We can't do as much as we used to.
Be careful.
Yeah, I got to be careful. Fox
yeah, you're going to need some Tylenol or Advil or something afterwards.
Exactly. Fox 6 Milwaukee Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks, thank you for joining us here tonight on Fox Weather.